Good afternoon and welcome to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this progressive rock show. And today we are doing some progressive rock featuring a band from England, a well-known progressive rock band, one of my favorites, one of my group of 7. And we recently did their first real kind of progressive album. I did on a look back. I didn't do the original album because first of all, I don't own it, and it's not an album that really intrigues me to get a hold of. It's kind of a different type of album for them. Anyways, today we're going to be doing this album, Genesis Nursey Cryme, which is the next album in the sequence of Genesis albums after Trespass. This album has some notable changes to it. First of all, the most notable is the personnel. Steve Hackett will take over on guitars on this album, and of course Phil Collins will take over on drums and backing vocals as well. The other members of the band who stayed with the band: Tony Banks on keyboards, Peter Gabriel on vocals, and Mike Rutherford on bass, although I do believe he does do some guitar bits on this album, but I might be wrong there. Anyways, the album was originally released in 1975 in November as an LP before CDs became a popular trend. It was recorded at Trident Studios in London, England in 1971, and was produced by John Anthony. Okay, so anyways, I'm going to talk somewhat about the album. It's one of, again, with Genesis for me, and it's not the case with all of the bands that I listen to, but in the case of Genesis, it's become somewhat a truism that other than Trick of the Tail, which is my favorite Genesis album, their releases, their first release, second, third, fourth release, each release I liked better than its predecessor. Not that there was anything wrong with Trespass. Trespass was, to me, a Group 1 album. I love it. It's an album I regularly go to. I like to listen. But this album is just a little bit better. It's also a Group 1, although pretty close to a masterpiece ranking for me. Maybe the production's a little bit different than, it's the same as Trespass, but not as good as what I've come to know Genesis for. And as a result, maybe it's not quite where I want, but again, it's another progressive step forward with Genesis. This album is much more progressive. It's a heavier album than its predecessor, and has some of the classic Genesis songs are on this album too. So I'm just going to put my glasses on so that I can better see what I'm talking about. The Music Box is one of my favorite Genesis songs, and Genesis was, for me, they did this quite a bit. They would have one song that would be my absolute favorite on the album, and then it had a bunch of good stuff. And in this case, my favorite song on this album is Music Box. I love Peter Gabriel's vocals on this. He has a very unique sounding voice, in my opinion. I mean, it's funny, you get two guys in a band who both have similar ranges. Phil Collins also can really sing, and he has done these songs and has done a very good job of them. But his voice is maybe a little smoother, maybe a better sounding rock voice. But Peter Gabriel has that unique voice that only Peter Gabriel has. For the Absence of Friends, a little bit that comes after it that I like quite a bit as well. Then we get to one of my favorite Genesis tracks, The Return of the Giant Hogweed. This is also a song that's quite heavy. The guitar in this is pretty heavy for Steve Hackett. He tends to be more of a meandering type, softer, different sounding guitar. He does some really unique guitar stuff, and I really like his stuff, but this particular song he's quite heavy on, and I really like that part. And the story is quite good. Being a horticulturalist myself, I kind of like the story about the giant hogweed. Seven Stones, another really good track on here. Harold the Barrel is kind of the comedy relief on this album, and I like it quite a bit. It shows off their vocal talents, and a number of them do little bits on this part. Harlequin, yeah, it's a little bit of a weaker song, not one of my favorites on here, but I still like it. And then, of course, we get to the epic Fountain of Salmus. Sorry, I was going to say the Fountain of Lambeth because I just recently did a Rush one. However, this is the Fountain of Salmus. The guitar on here is really unique. I really like the way Steve Hackett weaves his guitar into their music so well. The keyboards are really good on here as well. And of course the story, which only Peter Gabriel can tell. He's a master storyteller. I've heard criticism that he sometimes is too wordy, but he handles the wordiness well because he does his own vocals, which is really well done. Anyways, this is a Nursery Cryme from Genesis, and I've done the yellow theme today. Since the album color is yellow, I put on a yellow shirt and a yellow hat, so we kind of have this whole yellow thing going on here, which I'm very much like that kind of stuff. Anyway, so if you're looking for a Genesis album and you haven't seen this one, give it a try. You won't be disappointed. This is bordering on a masterpiece album, if it's not a masterpiece album. And I really dig the artwork on it too, playing croquet with people's heads. And there's little bits of like statuettes and stuff on the album back cover as well. It's kind of a different feel to it. Anyways, to me, it's a very British album as well. Anyways, if you've enjoyed this video, please like and at the bottom and subscribe if you want me to do more of this kind of content. If you have any comments about the album, or if I said something that maybe you don't agree with, please let me know. And because I like to learn too, I'm still learning. There's lots of stuff that comes out much later after the albums that people didn't know, that is kind of an interesting fact. So thank you for joining me today on Prog Monster. I will be, as I said, doing a top 10 for Styx later in the week, and some more look back albums as well. And I hope you've enjoyed this one, and so have a good day. Thank you.